What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be talking about the Bitcoin price chart in the altcoin market, which I have pulled up here on the screen. This chart is called Others, which is the entire altcoin market, excluding the top 10. Today, we've reached a critical retracement level, the 702 Fibonacci retracement, as we did hit it one time yesterday afternoon, and then this morning, once again. I tweeted that this morning and showing us right there up against it. And now the market sits in high anticipation on if we can actually get an expansion to take place over here in the cryptocurrency market. So we're going to look at a couple of different things, talking about structures and things to eventually get to an expansion, but it's been a little while since we've incorporated macro. We're going to talk about the Russell 2000, which is pulled back to the breakout level that took place during the election. We're also going to incorporate in gold, continuing a discussion we also had last week, and then at the same time try to tie that in here with the crypto market as we have total right back up near the all-time high from 2021. This does, of course, include the stable coins, remove the stable coins, and still we sit just below that previous all-time high. So pretty critical resistance here for the total market cap of crypto, along with others, which is really more of a signal of breadth in that the market has completely broadened out. But one thing we can notice is a lot of the steam has really kind of been lost over here starting there on November 12th. And one thing we can see over here is like on the 13th, that's where things started turning around over here for gold. And while Bitcoin has been chugging along in here, you can see a lot of that momentum really slowed down there on the 12th as well. So last week I discussed some of my thoughts over here on gold and what I thought it would look like for gold to be pulling back down to support, and that typically they happen in waves. An example of that would be back over here, back in 2021. This, of course, is when the Bitcoin bull run takes place in 2021. As the reversal in gold sets in, Bitcoin roars off into the sunset until the pullback is complete. And while ever since we saw that reversal take place there for gold, that has been the breakout happening over here for Bitcoin. I tried to tie this in with others the other day, saying that I could imagine it being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 5 just shoots off. I'm not sure if we're really looking for a 4.236 or more here. We'll kind of assess that as time gets closer, but that these waves would be kind of in unison with what's happening over here with gold. That as gold goes back into its corrective wave, that's when we kind of chill out for a little bit. But as for the big excitement, it would come during that third wave down for gold. A way to kind of look at this for something you may be familiar with would be kind of like what happened with Bitcoin back in 2021, where Bitcoin is range bound through here before it goes on to set its top, and the breakout happens in here. I'll take this off of gold for a second, kind of give you an example that it's like this, kind of goes a little parabolic here with a 5-wave ending, like what happened for Bitcoin here with a 5-wave ending. We then proceed to do 5 waves down and retracing back to retracement levels on each wave. And that the idea is we're probably already in that right now for gold, waiting for this retracement leg to come in for it to then go for the bigger spill down and then complete itself. If I had to make my best guess on incorporating these ideas, it would be that we struggle here trying to get an expansion to happen, but just really fighting throughout here this whole time until that can get itself in motion. And with the market being right back to where it's at, I think that's kind of just where we're at. We're waiting for that big moment to come where the whole thing can actually expand together. So I'm just trying to kind of theorize what would be those confluence things that would happen at the exact same time, since we witnessed confluence be the thing that got the market turning around, right? It's the Russell breaking out of the 786 retracement. It's gold reversing. So where do we see those confluence factors emerge again to where we actually get a true escape? Because right now, this has been our move back to the retracement level. This is where all the fear, the uncertainty, the worry, the concern happens when you go back to retracement levels. But now we need to see something be able to escape. And right now is where things can just bounce back and forth, get real volatile up in here until finally something comes and we get our way out. You know, we may still see various altcoins have their shoots going up as we're seeing a lot of kind of rotation happen in this market. We're seeing kind of the laggards get pulled back up. But as for the big liquidity in the market coming in here, we're at the breakout level. So now we all get to fingernail bite this, as there's likely to be people to profit take this area while there's the confluence of the market cap being at the all-time high for the whole cryptocurrency market. So we're at fingernail biting, trying to figure out what's going to be that thing that's going to actually trigger it to go. And this would make logical sense to me that it's kind of pulling back right now, and that's our big wave in the market. Now, a lot of people may be wondering to themselves, what's going on with the Russell 2000? Well, right now it just appears that this was a back test of the actual breakout. I've compared what is happening in the market right now to being much more similar to like the 1999-2000 dot-com bubble top, rather than this actually being an expansion like we witnessed back in 2012, 2016, and 2020. And even in 1999 to 2000, we did do something like this. That once this thing finally cracked through here with violence, it did pull back down. Now, that is different from what happened in 2012, 2016, and 2020, which, as we can see in 2012, the election passes and it goes into a clean break and gets out. In 2016, the election passes, it goes into a clean break and gets out. And in 2020, the election passes, it gets a clean break and gets out. But we get the break, we get a back test that's totally normal if we look at it through the lens of what it was like in a rotational market top, like in 1999 to 2000, which is what we've talked about here on the channel and what I've theorized over here in the newsletter back in October, that we would be acting much more like what a rotational top looks like rather than what an expansion looks like. So this isn't unusual to do something like this. And really a rotational top, from what we've seen before, they actually would kind of look more like this, right? And then eventually, rather than like what we're used to back in 2012, 2016, 2020, where it's just like boom, 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 right? So this still just kind of reaffirms that idea that I think it is more like a rotational top rather than an expansion happening throughout markets, which for crypto should be fine. It's just that I think most people are probably going to think this thing is going to last till November or December. But if you used a historical precedent, it's like maybe only March or April. And let me disclaimer that really quick. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, there's two things everybody wants to know. Number two is how high can price go? But the one thing everybody wants to know is when. Your guess is as good as mine on when. But I can use historical bases to try to say, well, here's what happened this time. When we saw the rotational top happen back in 1999 to 2000, it was similar to this. October and November, prices took off, just like we saw in 2012, 2016, and 2020. October, November, prices take off. But the difference between 2012, 2016, and 2020 is like the prices still continue to go throughout the most of the year. Whereas in 1999, 2000, right, it only took a couple of months. By March, it had wrapped itself up. What's interesting about March, April, May is that's really the technical top of the altcoin market 4 years. In crypto, back in 2021, 90% of the crypto market topped there in April and in May of 2021. So we technically kind of reach that 4-year cycle area by the time we get to March, April, May. So when it comes to like a timetable in my own head, it's not that I'm like hanging my hat on the timetable to say it has to happen by here, but it's just saying, hey, look, if I start seeing all those signs start to show up and we're in March, April, and May, and crypto Twitter is telling me, we still have 8 months left of this 4-year cycle, black reward halving, I will not fall for that. But like even in this idea that, I've got in here, right, that things could, eventually, I don't know how long it's going to take to waddle through here and have to fight here against these retracement levels, but I would not be surprised if it gets out quick. And if we do end up getting a big monster wave for wave 3, it'll kind of give me a timetable idea on how much longer I think we'll have after that. And I think it's just going to kind of depend on how long does it take for us to get out of here. And how long does this wave take to last? Waves don't typically move this fast. This is kind of a special case there of how quickly that moved. But I think it seems likely to me we're going to eventually end up getting it. I think we're just waiting on a couple of things. One, the Russell 2000 to turn its way back up. Question is it normal for it to come back and backtest this? It's normal in a rotational market top. It's not normal in an expansionary market like 2012, 2016, and 2020. However, it has been theorized that this is not an expansionary market. This is a rotational top, and that is normal. So along with the Russell turning its way back up after the backtest, I think gold needs to finish this move right in here. And then we can hopefully get ready for the exciting wave to come after that. Till then, we're at that level. We are at that battle. And it's just how long does it take in here? This is where a lot of buying and selling pressure happens and a lot of fighting between the two occur. Traders profit take here at these levels. Retail YOLOs in at these levels. But traders kind of knock it off in the event that you get through the last retracement level. That's essentially where stop losses get placed and they knock off the shorting and swap long. And so right now, this is going to be where they're shorting, they're selling, they're saying no, 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 no. Whereas retail is saying yes, 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 yes. And right now, we've got to kind of have that battle that happens right in here until we get through. And then these guys will knock it off and swap to yes, yes, yes. And these are just normal places where those battles take place. These are places that are drawn out on people's charts for a long time. And traders will look at it and say, there was resistance there. Let me take my shot and sell the market right here. Totally normal. The thing is, it's just got to wait till it can invalidate it for that to get knocked off. So for those looking to take trades, this is a place where those trades typically get taken. Otherwise, for someone like me who's not interested in taking trades, I'm just sitting in my spot bags waiting for this process to get played out. But like we've talked about in several videos, it would be completely normal for there to be volatility in here. This was the nice big break that we were definitely looking for, like in here, but just know it can be a volatile ride to eventually get its way out. And as of right now, signs still point to it being probable that it will. We're just waiting for the Russell to get a good reaction from here. And I speculate for gold to finish this move right here. And that once all of that is done, we can finish with this area and then go into the exciting part of the market, which I don't even think we've entered into yet, which happens when all systems are go. Retail pours into the market on the break of the high, and then we see the safety trade dominance go shooting to the downside, which is just probably the most optimistic thing, is that we just aren't even close to having that happen yet. Definitely been on the right direction here over the last week or two after being stuck up there for over 5 months. But we could just clearly see it. We haven't even entered into where things get absolutely nutty. And I think that comes upon the break of here. It's just the reason why we talk about these things is to try to kind of give that idea of when. I can't give you a timing of when, but I can say, hey, look, these would be confluence factors that would be happening. A completion of a corrective wave in gold, followed by another leg up in the Russell. Till then, the battle rages on as we await for the real expansion to take place in this market, which we sit 0.01 trillion away from right now. And to just kind of harp on this again, my bias is that we will eventually get out. But what I know about these levels is that these can be big battles that happen here. And I know a lot of people are coming back into crypto who have maybe stepped away for a long time. They may not remember that. Those who have been here for years on end, you know it very well. My bias for why I think we'll eventually get out of there is just because of what we have done over the course of the last 3 years. Is that this was a retracement back to the 702 Fibonacci retracement level back in March. The idea is that it would pull back to preliminary support, which it did do, looking for an accumulation structure to happen down in here. We've gotten it. We've shot back to the retracement levels. My thoughts are that we'll see at least a move that would be a 4.236 extension of this particular range in here. Maybe we'll see more than that, but that's really kind of my primary idea for right now. And a lot of this stems back to this video that was published in November of 2023, that we would see others go back to the 702 retracement, pull back to the preliminary support range, and how that range would end up being a 4.236 extension, as mentioned in the video. Like on things like XRP and structures, when we see this is usually that level where you can measure a 4.236 extension from in here and then go on and try to get into those zones. So contextually, that's what we're going with in here. We did see the 702 Fibonacci retracement, pulled all the way back down to the preliminary support, did an accumulation structure. We're back to retracements. My thoughts are we'll eventually get our way out of here. It's just going to be a battle to do it. So when we look at it from this, it's taking into context the whole picture of everything that has happened in here for that. And that we're now at the point to be looking for that escape to start happening in here and for us to go for that 4.236 extension. So buckle up. This is where the bear versus bull fight happens at. I think eventually we'll get through. But we're just going to kind of go through some fighting in here in this area first before we can. So there may be some turbulence while we're in here. But once that's done, the next phase is everybody holding hands singing Kumbaya. And with Bitcoin at $93,700, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later. So probably one of the most exciting times in crypto in a long time. I didn't show it in this video, but if you've caught my last videos, obviously the breadth has been open wide up. That only flashes in good circumstances. So that, of course, adds to the confluence factor for me to be very optimistic about it. I just know we can really struggle at these levels for a little while. But ultimately, the big picture, why we tie in that stuff from back in November of last year, is to say, hey, this is really what we've been looking for. Now we're just waiting for it. So, all right, it's been a crazy couple of weeks. But I'll go ahead and wrap this up. I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning in markets in the morning. In the meantime, of course, you could check out the newsletter I just published a couple of days ago, where we talk about whether or not this breakout has legs to it by looking at confluence factors in macro and in crypto, where the strong performers have been, looking at the different sectors and coins that are leading the charge, along with which coins have good data, which looking at the factors that have worked historically, such as developer activity and TVL, and which coins are meeting those standards right now. And then, of course, looking ahead and how does this market historically play from here. You can check this out at blockchainbacker.substack.com. These all come with audio recordings that I personally record. You can, of course, check out bcbacker.com with over 40 videos and 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. There are links in the description of this video to bcbacker.com and to the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, and I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.